Hello, this is the video for my first assignment in the first practice set, which is to make a custom card. I made a happy half birthday card because my kid turns a year and a half this month later. So yeah, this is how it looks like in the emulator, and I'm going to show you how it looks like on the phone as well. So pretty much the same. I started out by making a few thumbnails on paper while I was figuring out exactly how I wanted it to look like and what I wanted it to be for. And I ended up choosing this one. Since I'm not very good with sketching on paper, I work digitally usually, so I made a quick mock-up that I ended up using as just my background in Illustrator. So this is the thing I started from, and I did apply some changes to it because when I put it on the screen, this was way too light, this yellowish background, so the text wasn't very readable, and I made the title pink so it would stand out a bit more. And since those are just cute little messages at the bottom, I left them the same because they weren't that big of a problem in my opinion. Their main purpose was to be secondary, so that was just fine. This is my plan. I did also try to make this circle and that background pink line stuff separate image views. However, I had to hard code the values, and I tried to make this because I wanted to fix how it looks on larger screens, but it still looked weird and I still couldn't place them properly, so I decided to just go with one image view for the background and be happy that it works for phones. I'm sure that later on I'm going to learn how to fix that issue. And I apologize, I'm not a native speaker, so it probably sounds like a mess. Now here I wanted all of those three to be separate text views so I can apply different formatting, and I decided to put this part, the XOXO, on the left so I could try and align it to that side as well, and I added another piece of text here so I could align it at the top of something, above something. And yeah, I'm going to now pull up the code itself. Now this status bar is actually transparent, and I removed the up title bar because I didn't want it to be there. So most of my time was spent on this part because it was not in the lesson and I had to research it. I tried a lot of stuff, but what worked in the end was I got this code from Stack Overflow. Somebody else had a similar issue where they wanted to remove those, so I placed that here. And I also added this, I changed the theme. This one I kind of figured out on my own because most of the advice was to edit the styles file. But every time I would put something here, I would break it, so I decided not to try. And through trial and error, this came up and it started working, so I just left it like that. Where did my preview go? Thank you. Now, as I said, it works on phones. It looks appropriate on all of those. However, when you go to a bigger screen, it does break. That I couldn't really figure out how to make it fit better, so I'm just ignoring that for now. I'm hoping to be able to come back later and fix that. Now for the code. I have just one image view, as I said, and this is pretty much the same as in the practice assignment. It's center crop, so it would stretch out. It's match parent, and this is my original file. For the text view, they're all aligned to the parent bottom, so I could push them up with margins. I played around with the values. I tried to keep them in 8 dp increments, like 120, 96, 80. So I tried to at least do that. I hope it looks kind of decent. Now they're, as I said, aligned to the bottom. They're centered horizontally and they're all wrap content, so they would be in the center. The sizes I also played around with a lot until I get them where I wanted them to be. they are in all caps, so it wouldn't matter how I write them down, they would be equal. And just this one is not, this one is just an italic, where did it go now? It's an italic text. So here I did have to make it properly. This heart here is just an icon. I really wanted to try and add that in my text view. Now what I did for all the text was I added my own font. This is Arial Rounded Bolt, or however it's called. And to do that I made another folder in the resources, which was called font, and added my file here. Now there was an issue at first because it was named with all capital letters, but I learned how to read my errors and it just said that I have to rename it, so it's not with capital letters, and since then it's been working just fine. Also, I've added my own custom colors for both this pink and this yellowish white one. Another thing is that I added an ID for the mom text, so I could place from above it. And also those are bold, all of those, and this one is italic. And those two are aligned to the right hand bottom, this one to the left hand bottom of the parent. Those two have padding on the bottom side and on the side that touches the screen, while this one only has it on the side because I figured it looks decent enough above the mom text just as it was, so I just left it without changing it, just for the sake of changing it. And basically I think this is all I did. Yeah, I mean it took me a while, but it works in the end, so that's pretty cool. Thank you, and hopefully I can progress faster now.